Yeah, I think we could expound upon that whole idea at a later time when we have more brain power.
Let's do it.
I did want to say there's one last thing that you said, that we kind of brought up. You said, if you like somebody a lot, I said you just call him a good guy, right? If you feel connected, you're like, yeah, that's a good guy, versus oh, he makes me laugh. Oh, he's always, he does this or this for me, right? The thing I was thinking of is, we often talk about in class, nice guy versus good guy, or nice versus good. And one thing I thought of just the other day is, when just based on relationships or dating and stuff, it's a woman will call you a good guy if she wants you, and a nice guy when she's breaking up with you.
Right. Yeah.
You're just a really nice guy. I just, I want the best for you.
Yeah. There's another word for nice that they won't say. But what I really think that word is it's one of the worst words you can be called as a man. Right. One of the worst words you can be called as a man is harmless. Mm-hmm. And so,
not that we want to be harmful, but we don't want to be.
But if you're harmless, you're useless in a way, because it's not about nothing to do with harming other people intentionally. Maybe not nothing. Let me take that back. So you have the capability of probably doing that, right? And so harmless is not, it's not virtuous, which means it's not useful or purposeful or meaningful or pioneering. None of that is in harmless, right? So I think yeah, men make a lot of mistakes by making themselves, or at least presenting themselves, as harmless, right? So you'll have people with these underlying passive. I love that we're going here. This is where I light up and shit.
Yeah, it's it's the difference between saying I couldn't harm a fly versus I wouldn't harm a fly.
Yeah,
having the power and choosing not to.
Having the power and choosing not to use it, but also being able to express that, right? So you have these. So when people are overly nice, they're very scared of coming. See, guys are very scared of coming across as assertive or powerful, right? Because they're scared of that, because a lot of the stigma around that as well that goes on. But it's one of the worst things you can do. So they overcompensate in being this nice and fragile and right. And then at the end of the day, they've completely suppressed their real side. Everyone has a little shadow or assertive or even aggressive or mean streak or a little bit of monster inside of them. They suppress it so low that when you don't show any of that you have that potential or capability, you have this very fragile shell that no woman wants.
And I think this is really specific to men too, right? Men's biggest fears, I think one of the biggest fears that a man has is not being accepted by a woman or the woman he loves, or just not being accepted. This is why we're fucking obsessed with our penis size, right? This is why we want it to be adequate. We want it to be more than adequate.
Thank God, yeah,
exactly. Right. but men and so they try to be nice, right? Because they don't want to offend, they don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. And so because that, they build up that shell of pushing everything down, and it's this fragile skin, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that in a leader. Nobody wants that in a spouse, right? Somebody who's just so fragile and nice, or just too agreeable. right? We want somebody who knows what they want. We want somebody who wants to be, who's just got like it. What's the word? Not intention, integrity, right? They've got integrity in who they are, and they have the capability of doing something about it. They may refrain, and they're able to express themselves. This is all my rants. I love my expression, my rants. My students were telling me the other day, they're like, I love your rants on intention. Like whenever on Monday night, we had class 6, and one of my students was like, she's like, I love it when Craig goes on his rants about intention. Cause I was like, I'm getting on my soapbox here. But expression, right? Like if you can express yourself in a way with integrity, that shows that you are a foundation. You are a foundation. You are solid. You cannot be wavered by somebody else saying, I don't agree with that. And if you, I know there's some sort of idiom out there about this. There's multiple idioms. Like if you don't have something to stand on, you don't something to lean. If you don't have that foundation that you stand on, and if it sways with every change in the winds, you're not going to, it's not going to be anything that you could build yourself upon or build any relationship upon. And
I think the balance.
I was just going to say that goes back to what we were saying earlier about like, you can disagree with somebody and still, have the understanding of perspectives, and that makes it a stronger relationship.
Totally. The balance of using your dark side, right? The balance of being able to use it for you rather than use it against you. And when somebody sees someone that has it, I don't want to say under control, but if someone sees someone that knows how to use it and they know how to, okay, I can pull out my monster a little bit here, and I have to use my monster to be able to ask for this raise or to make my point. And you just use a little bit of it, you throttle it, right? You have a certain amount that you can use at the right times. That person's being much more real than the person who only wears the I'm a sweetheart, I can't hurt a fly mask, and going back to what women said, what we're talking about, women and men in this regard, is women want to see real, which comes down to real virtue, and
in that way you can be
versus
a sweetheart,
the other one,
right? Your virtue and your values make you a sweetheart. It's not the nicety. It's not the being nice. That doesn't make you sweet.
Right. And no one wants to see, as you called it, that fragile skin, which ties in with circumcision, which ties in to men being obsessed with their penis size.
And that is the podcast.